It's Friday, first pitch, my favorite show of the week. The legend himself, Dave Cokin, my daily co-host, and Bryan Leonard. Bryan, I see you using the Face app. Can you get rid of it so that we can just see the you? Do you even get that joke?
The Face app? Oh, the old thing. Yeah. It takes me a while to catch up to these things. No, it's just me.
Oh, sorry. I thought you had put a picture up of the actual Face app of you and your 80. My bad. Dave Cokin, do they have Face apps for men of your age, or do they go down in yours?
I don't know. I don't give a shit about that stuff.
No small talk, Prez. Let's talk baseball, Prez. We don't want to hear from you, Prez.
No, you asked me a question and I answered it. I don't give a shit about what I'm going to look like in 20 years. You know why? I probably won't be here in 20 years. Good chance of that. So,
well, we want you there.
Look, I do not follow trends, lifestyle trends. I don't care about them. So, if you want to do a thing that says what you might look like in, 80 years, it's fine by me. I just don't have any interest in it. So, what can I tell you? I don't like superhero movies either. I don't like Star Wars. I saw the first Star Wars. I never saw another one. You know why? Because I didn't like it. I don't give a crap about what anybody likes. So you want to play around with Face app? Do that. You can whack off to it for all I care. I don't care. I am not interested in it. I am not going to do it. And besides which, I need somebody else getting my information. I mean, when do people figure out that you're giving away your information and then they complain about no privacy? What the fuck is wrong with you people? Sorry about the language.
Just keep going, Dave. Keep going.
This just drives me a little bit batty. Is that we have no more privacy. And then you go out and give your information to somebody else. Makes a lot of sense to me.
Bryce, welcome to the Dave Cokin Friday vent.
It's not a vent.
I'm with them. Whatever makes people happy is how I've lived my life.
I love superhero movies. I don't like Star Wars. I could care less about Face app.
Here we go. Good.
Well, then why'd you bring it up?
Well, no, because I thought you were using it. I thought you had put your
You were trying to burn on me is what it was. And it failed miserably, sir. Bryan
Leonard, 9-2 run in your last 11 plays. Nice.
Yeah, been on a nice little run, 23-11, I think, going back. We did have a loser yesterday on a 260 underdog. That was my loser, but that's going to happen when you give out 260 underdogs. So, well, let's go. Let's get some winners for today.
Okay, and before we do that, let's get to some business real quick. Kevin Dolan, 5% CFL Game of the Week up tonight. He is killing it. 67% in Canadian football this year. I am on an 11-1 baseball run. Dave Cokin, you've been kicking ass. Talk to me.
It's been pretty good, although I had a little frustration yesterday because the Nationals was the best bet that I put up, and then Atlanta changed pitchers, so that kind of rendered that play useless for most people. That's the way it goes sometimes.
You got it, brother. Okay, let's get into it. Philadelphia against Pittsburgh. First game on the board for us. Philly, 3 games above 500. Pittsburgh, 5 games below 500. Pittsburgh is, you know what, it's basically a pick 'em. Pittsburgh's the home team. The over and under is 10.5. Dave, I go to you first. What do you like in this game?
Arrieta's off a good game, but if you watched him pitch in the game against the Nationals, where the Phillies came back and won that in a walk-off in the 9th inning. He pitched okay, but it's a struggle for him. He's got to be really fine with his command now, or he can get hit. The flip side is Jordan Lyles, who was gangbusters early in the season, made some adjustments in spring training. He had a new pitch and pitched over his head for a while. He's returned to being Jordan Lyles. The Pirates have lost 6 of his last 7 starts. The Phillies offense versus the Pirates offense here, whoever has the better night. I probably would lean Phillies, but I don't see any possibility this game will be on my card.
I lean Phillies as well, Bryan, and I like the over in this game. I mean, Dave just mentioned whose offense is going to carry the day. Lyles is an absolute mess. I can see more than 10.5 runs.
I am going to pass on this game because I'm using baseball reference, and they don't have any of the pitching data up. And I know we've got a lot of shit to get to, so I'm just going to pass on this one.
Okay, St. Louis, Cincinnati. St. Louis has won 5 of their last 6 games. Cincinnati has lost 3 in a row, 2 to the Cubs and a 7-4 loser to St. Louis. We've got St. Louis at minus 108, give or take, an over and under of 9.5. And St. Louis 2.5 games back in the NL Central, right in the thick of things for the wild card. Cincinnati fading 8 games back and falling down right now. Dave, where are you going in this one?
So, in honor of Brian, I'll talk game scores for a moment. And Adam Wainwright, and he's had only 1 game score of 60 plus all year on the road. So he's another one of these St. Louis pitchers, and they've got a few of them, Flaherty, Michaelis as well, who have been really good at home and not good at all on the road. Tyler Mahle, well, the Reds are they're 1-6 in his last 7 starts. They're 4-14 on the season, but 0-10 on the road, 4-4 at home. So Mahle has been respectable at home, and I would give him a slight edge here. I think with the home road splits, I would look at the Cincinnati side in this game. I think the offense is fairly close to even as far as the matchup itself is concerned. Price to me indicates the Reds offer a little bit of value. Probably not enough to play though. I'd have to get like plus 115 or something, and that's not going to happen.
Yeah, Brian, I'm not with Dave on this at all. I mean, I look at this game, and St. Louis is rolling. They've won 5 of 6. Cincinnati has lost 7 of 9 games. Tyler Mahle, home, away. I mean, this is not a great pitcher. I think you're getting St. Louis at a short price.
Yeah, if I was to play it, I'd play the Cardinals here. Cardinals one of those teams that have plenty of talent. They just haven't put it together. The top of the order starting to hit a little bit. Slight value on St. Louis, but I don't know if I'll get there.
Washington on the road playing Atlanta. This Washington team is fierce. They just beat Atlanta 13-4. I told everyone yesterday the over. Washington, one of the hottest teams in all of baseball. They've won 7 of 10. Atlanta, though, they've lost 3 in a row, but prior to that, we're on an absolute tear. You got Corbin versus Turan tonight. Atlanta minus, Washington is minus 120. It's 10 on the board. Dave, I go to you first. What do you like?
Well, I'm not getting the Nationals' way right now because that starting pitching of theirs, even with Scherzer missing a start here, it's dynamite. Strasburg hit and pitched his way to the win last night. He had a massive game with the bat and pitched okay. Tehran gets backed up a day, which maybe that'll help him. But Corbin's been on a roll lately. The negative is Corbin hasn't been all that good on the road this year, but they've won his last, I believe it's 5 starts. Tehran's been effective, but to me it's kind of a mirage with Tehran. So I give a pitching edge to the Nationals. And right now I think I'd give them an offensive edge as well. They're swinging the bats really well. It's the market agrees. You're going to have to lay a price now, 120. But the Nationals are a consideration to be on my card again tonight.
Yeah, and it would be a real nice win for the Nationals. They're 5.5 back on Atlanta. They're in the wild card spot, but they want to win the division, and they need these games. Brian?
Well, Washington's been hot, but they've done it against Philadelphia and Baltimore, 2 of the teams that are struggling right now. Atlanta got off that nice run, but they haven't hit very well lately. Only 1 game of their last 9 have they scored more than 5 runs. Slightly into Washington based on the way they're playing, but I won't be involved in this one.
Milwaukee at Arizona. Arizona done in the division, but in the wild card hunt. Milwaukee 2 games back on the Cubs, and this NL Central looks like it should be a fun ride. This is going to be a really nice game. Milwaukee minus 132 with Chacin on the mound playing Clark. The over and under in this game is 10. Dave, where are we going?
This is the most interesting game in the schedule to me in terms of what's happening with the market. The market's bombing the Brewers here. This is now up into the 130s.
Yeah,
so
came out at minus 119, 132 on the board.
Yeah, and this isn't a public type of game because of the matchup. So I would classify it. I'll have to dig a little deeper, but it looks like it's sharp money on the Brewers. And you have to ask yourself why, because Chacin has been awful. 1-8. The team's 1-8 in his last 9 starts, including 0-8 on the road. He's got some ugly numbers. Now, he has pitched better lately, so got to factor that in. But on the year, you're talking about a hard hit percentage of 46%, that's pretty high. He's got the highest fly ball rate of his career. That's a bad combination. Highest fly ball rate and high hard hit rate. The problem is the flip side, which is Clark, and he really hasn't shown any indication that he's a major league pitcher. And I think that has to do with why this market is making this statement. The Brewers finally won a couple in a row. That's going to help them. Diamondbacks are not a good home team. And Clark's had, I think, 1 start. Yeah, on game scores, his best game score, is 54, which is just barely above average being 50. So he's a completely untrustworthy pitcher. Market is clear on the Brewers. I'm probably not going to get involved. I can't lay that price with Chacin on the road.
Brian, I'm outright passing on this game. What do you like?
Yeah, I feel the same way. The market is, I'm a big believer in the market, and the market is pulling for Milwaukee here. I made it about 118, so I'm not seeing much value here. So, I'm with Dave on Clark. Not going to force me to bet a bad pitcher in Milwaukee, although Milwaukee's been one of those teams the last few years, been very streaky. So maybe somebody's just jumping on that streak since they are playing a little bit better now, and it's been a bet against team for the last few weeks. So I'm going to sit this one out.
By the way, please pardon the sniffing and snorting. My allergies have decided to be a pain in the neck this morning.
There's an app for that, Dave, but you might start pitching it out.
That one I'll check out.
I'm the Prez, Dave Cokin with us, Bryan Leonard with us. Real quick, guys, we have got a ton of streaks over at wagertalk.com. Brian's on a 9-2 baseball run, and one of his losses was a plus 260. I'm on an 11-1 baseball run. Dave Cokin is up like close to 40, 50 units in his last few weeks. Marco is rolling as well. We got a big CFL play up, Kevin Dolan. Please head over to wagertalk.com and check us out. Bri, talk about a line move. LA Dodgers came out at minus 280. There's a 305. There's a 330 on the board at CG. At 310, 311. A lot of money obviously coming in on the Dodgers. I had the Marlins last night as one of my wins. Nice plus 111 dog. RYU on the mound tonight. This guy is lights freaking out. What are we doing?
You going to me on this one?
No, you're always second.
Okay. No.
Dodgers should win the game. I mean, what else can you say? I think the price is right on the game. I made it 310, so I have no interest in playing the game. I'm not laying that kind of a price, and I have no desire to take a lottery ticket with Miami.
Bri, all you, brother.
Like Zach Gallen, but look at the Dodgers have scored 7, 8, 16, 7, and 11 last 5 games. But if you're looking for a letdown situation, the Dodgers just played Boston, team they played in the World Series, and they just played Philadelphia, team that just made a lot of big changes in the offseason. They expect to play in the playoffs, a possibility of that. So I could see a letdown. First game back home, playing the Miami team that we know is not very good. If they do have a letdown, I would think it would be offensively. So maybe take a look at the total in this game, but at this point, I'm passing.
There's a ton of line moves going on today. We had the New York Mets come out at minus 200 with DeGrom on the mound against the hottest team in all of baseball. The money is clearly coming in on Bede and San Fran. It's down to the Mets at minus. The lowest I can see is 168, but on an average 170. And I understand that, Dave. I mean, I don't know how anyone could get in the way of San Fran right now. This team's won 6 in a row, 9 of 10. They had a 3-2 win yesterday, a walk-off. They're just absolutely on fire right now. There is no chance I'm going to be playing the Mets in this game.
No, me neither. I mean, obviously DeGrom's vastly superior to Tyler Beede. Beaty's got a high hard hit rate. He's really not very good. But two things. First of all, it doesn't matter who pitches for the Giants right now because they keep on winning.
Yep.
And the proof of that is Beede, who's a mediocre guy. I know he's had a couple of decent outings lately, but he's a fringy guy. But they're 7-2 in his 9 starts. And the Mets, as good as DeGrom is, it's the same old story. They never score for him. They're 6-13. He's one of the best pitchers in baseball, and they're 6-13 in his starts. And last night, typical Giants fall behind in the 16th inning, or whichever it was. It's 2-1 Mets. Okay, let's go out and win it anyway. I can see why people are betting the Giants, and I wouldn't try and talk anybody off that side.
Yeah, Brian, I'm with Dave 100%. I think the Giants are super live tonight. I mean, this team they're just finding ways to win. They're winning 2-1 against Colorado, 3-2 against the Mets. Then they're winning 19-2 and 11-8. This team is finding every way. 1-0 against St. Louis. They're pitching well. They're hitting well. They are as live as you can be.
Beaty's switched up his pitch, the way he pitches, and he's throwing more of certain pitches than others, which is why he's had success lately. He's as David pointed out, he's got mostly mediocre stuff, but he's found a pitch with success, and he's been riding it, and that's why Beaty's been pitching well lately. The only drawback for me is that game went 16 innings last night, 16, I believe. I normally like to go against a team who loses that heartbreaker the next day, but it's tough for me to do that because DeGrom's going to be overpriced no matter what he does, and we talked about it last time he pitched about what his record is on games that he starts, and it's sort of like you're paying a preview or a premium for something where the team doesn't score many runs. It's the Giants, the under or nothing for me.
And by the way, the Giants, incredibly, will be at 500 if they win this game tonight.
That's amazing.
Really is.
Yeah, and Baltimore will be at 500 in about 10 years. Speaking of which, they're hosting the Red Sox tonight. David Price on the mound here. It came out at minus 210, and we got 250s on the board. I mean, today is line move Friday. He's playing against Means. The over and under is 9.5. There are 10s on the board. I said at the beginning of the week, just bet against Baltimore blind.
Well, I won't bet against him here only because David Price, you're paying a premium for Price, and he's not pitching at that level.
Well, he hasn't pitched at any level in 3 years.
No, he's
been good off and on
last year. He's been okay. I mean, I'm not saying he's still above average. He's still an above average pitcher, and he's got a good offense behind him. So I would disagree with that. Problem on Means is I think the second half could be rough on him. He's got a really elevated fly ball rate, and I think hitters are going to start to get to him as they get more familiar with him. The price is a little bit high here, but not enough to possibly interest me in the Orioles.
Mr. Leonard.
Red Sox 41-29 against righties, 11-15 against lefties. And you've got Baltimore's best starter, a lefty here. Problem is Baltimore doesn't hit lefties either, only 11-24. Prefer the Boston side, but it's tough to lay big numbers with this Red Sox team. That was my loss yesterday. I went against Sale. They never score for Sale, and Sale hasn't pitched well, and Toronto's been very good against lefties, so gave it a shot, didn't score a run. It's going to happen.
And it's actually, you're right. I mean, not only has Toronto been good against lefties, but if you go back, Toronto owns Chris Sale.
Yeah, Cleveland has always owned Chris Sale too, even back when he was with Chicago. So if you take out the teams he hasn't gotten owned by, he's great. But you don't have to pay attention to the way these.
I was just going to say that's one of those things where I don't put a lot of stock in the career records because the teams change. You know, Toronto had some pretty good baseball teams when Sale was with the White Sox, who sucked, and they beat him up. That Toronto team doesn't exist anymore.
Toronto beat Sale last time they faced him in Toronto.
I will say, if a team has had success against that, it doesn't matter who is managing or who is pitching. The whole team knows from general manager down how to face that guy, so they're going to pass around that information.
But not if it's the same, a different cast of characters.
Well,
that's why it's, for me, I'll look at career records, but I'll only look at them in conjunction with what the current roster has done against them.
Well, that's what I'm saying, the current roster, yeah. But it's got to be a situation where they bring it all down from management. So Cleveland's been that way forever, and Cleveland's had many different pitchers since that time. So just two different ways to look at it. One's not right. One, just different things to look at.
Guys, we got to get to the next game. I got a hard stop today. I got a meeting with my lawyer, Marcus Stroman, Jordan Zimmerman. Minus 151 was the line. It's now minus 158. The over and under is 10. Both these teams absolutely stink. But Marcus Stroman is 5 times in class on Zimmerman. He's actually having a pretty decent season right now, just playing for the hard luck Toronto Blue Jays. I'm going to lay off this game. I think Toronto will win it, but I think the number is a bit too high for me. Dave, I'll go to you first.
No, I agree with that. If you gave me $500 and said you must bet this money on the Detroit Tigers, I'd just keep the money, okay? I'm not walking up there and saying Tigers at the window. Stroman has a big edge over Zimmerman, who's been absolutely terrible. And actually, I think the price is probably right now. 145 was low on this game. Toronto is playable at that price. 160, not so much. Yeah. But Blue Jays are pass for me.
Bry?
You won't catch me laying this number on the Blue Jays. 18-31 on the road, 21-42 versus right-handers. There's times where you just need to say, this game is unplayable. At that number, it's unplayable.
7 games in a row. That's what the White Sox have lost. And worse, 4 of them was against Kansas City. This team is in a major slump right now. They're facing Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay has lost 3 in a row and really needs this win. This is an important game for Tampa Bay. McKay versus Lopez, minus 250. It's now been bet down just slightly. The lowest I can see is minus 235. We've over and under of 8.5 and 9. I can't go near the White Sox, and I think Tampa Bay, in the form that they're in right now, it's just a little too high for me.
Yeah, that's a tough spot for Tampa because they're off the doubleheader loss to the Yankees, and that's very disappointing for them. But the White Sox are shorthanded. Anderson was already out. Now they lose another key guy in Jimenez, so not much of a lineup right now. Right now, though, Lopez is a pitcher I rarely have any desire to play on. In fact, rarely is probably overstating it. I'm not going to go through all the stuff on Lopez again. He's just lousy. Nobody's barreling McKay. I mean, 30% hard hit rate in his efforts so far. Tampa Bay should win this game, but it's not a good spot, and I'm not going to lay that price.
Bryan Leonard?
Straight pass for me with Tampa coming off the doubleheader. White Sox are 15-15 against lefties, but I won't get involved in this one.
Kansas City on the road, Montgomery against Cleveland's Bieber. Cleveland is just really on quite a roll right now. They're 4 games back on Minnesota for the division. They're 1 up in the wild card spot. They're a tough team to play against at this particular time. You know, we talked about this all week. It looked like Cleveland might be a sell team. I don't know so much anymore. They've won 5 in a row. They've won 8 of 10.
They're not going to be selling.
Yeah, I think Cleveland might go for it here. They're huge favorite at minus 295 with an over and under of 10. I don't see any other way to play this. It's Cleveland or pass.
Well, Bieber's been fantastic. He's got tremendous momentum right now. Montgomery, he'll get his wish now because he can be a starting pitcher for the Royals. He didn't want to be in the bullpen with the Cubs, and he was awful. Absolutely awful this season with the Cubs. But there's nothing to get excited about with Montgomery. I don't think changing teams means a whole lot. I don't think he's very good. The Indians probably still underpriced. I mean, I'm not going to go out there and lay whatever it is, $3, but you could probably make this $4, and I still wouldn't bet Kansas City.
Yeah, they're unbettable right now, even with the 4-game win streak. Brian, what do you think?
Montgomery's not a guy that throws a lot of strikeouts. He is a lefty. Cleveland hits lefty pretty well. Indians, you talk about finding ways to win. I'm an Indians fan. I kind of wish they would trade because this team isn't going to go anywhere in the playoffs. If they make the playoffs, they've had such an easy first half against the teams they played. The power rating of the teams they're playing up against the rest of the season is going to be tough. In this game, line's too high to bet the Indians, and I don't want the Royals, so it's a pass for me.
Odorizzi versus Bassett tonight. Minnesota against Oakland. Minnesota won the first game. They're minus 126, 127, a big total of 11. Oakland's playing outstanding ball right now. I mean, take away their loss last night. They've won 6 of their last 7 games. And Minnesota, just like Dave Cokin predicted, has come down to earth a little bit. And we've even seen that slightly with their bats as well. I don't know where to go here, guys. I think this is a straight pass. Well,
look, Odorizzi, he's not as good as his numbers suggest this season. He's had a horseshoe up his butt. I mean, you got a fly ball rate of almost 50%, which is as extreme as it gets, but a home run rate on those fly balls of less than 10%. Some of these balls are going to start going over the fence, okay? But I've got to wait for it to turn on him. The Twins are 16-5 in his last 21 starts, 13-5 plus the last 3 last year, 7-0 in his home starts. I really want to go against numbers like that. Chris Bassett, pretty good lately for Oakland. I think Oakland's got my interest here, but I'm not really getting the price I want. And I think I'm kind of in a wait mode for Odorizzi. I want to see that game where the home runs start to fly. It might be soon. I think it's going to happen soon for him. Odorizzi's a guy on my red flag list. I'm going to be looking for spots to play against him. Haven't decided for sure whether I'm going to do it tonight, but I'm at least considering Oakland.
I don't understand cliches. You mentioned having a horseshoe up your ass. I would consider that one of the more unlucky things that could happen to you.
You've got a point there.
Well, and on top of it, I couldn't imagine pitching with an actual horseshoe up my ass.
That would be very difficult to repeat your delivery that way.
Yeah. I don't understand. You can't have your cake and eat it. What is the point of having a cake? What are you supposed to look at it? Find me a cliche that makes sense. Please post it on our comment board at YouTube.
Okay, so he's had a 4-leaf clover up his ass. How's that sound?
Yeah, that's not going to be comfortable either. I mean,
clearly, I don't know. I've never tried it.
Clearly,
I thought we had somewhere to be.
What?
I thought we had somewhere to be.
Yeah, well, you know what, Bri? If I don't get small talk in, what is the point of having me on this show? What do you like in this game?
You know what, Prez? I think you should check out the 4-leaf clover up your ass app.
Oh, boom! Dave's on fire today.
Wi-Fi, Dave. That was a good one. Actually, you park on the driveway and you drive on the parkway. 2 more ththings. By the way, Odorizzi is a guy, if you're an advanced stats player, You've been betting against him all year. You're getting your ass kicked. I'm not doing it. Oakland's playing the better ball. I think there's some value on Oakland, but I'm passing on the game.
I told you guys I'm on an 11-1 run. I'm on a 3-0 run in baseball. Yesterday I won 2 games. One was on Miami. The second game I won was on Houston. They're playing tonight with the mighty Verlander on the mound. Playing against Texas. Houston came out at minus 225, been bet down to minus 205. Big number, but there ain't no way I'm getting in the way of Justin Verlander. Dave, talk to me.
And the Rangers did play over their heads. This is not a great lineup, and props to them for a real good first half, but it looks like they're starting to decline now, which the regression is definitely kicking in. 50-46 now. They're only 4 games over 500. They were not a playoff contender, and that was phony. Verlander's really tough. The price is going to keep me out of the game. I made it about $2, and it's in that range. So I think it's a right price, but I'm not getting in Houston's way here.
Bri, what do you like?
From a market standpoint, when money comes in against an elite pitcher like Verlander, I show it some respect. Although the Astros are 22-7 against lefties, I think the line's where it should be, and this isn't one I'm going to be getting involved in.
Yeah, and Bri, you park on a driveway, drive on a parkway. That's not a cliche. That's just a saying. That's the same type of thing as your feet smell and your nose doesn't, or whatever the hell that nonsense is. So we're still looking for a cliche that makes sense. Arizona versus, the Angels versus Seattle. The Angels are minus 122 to 117. Another line move as they came out at minus 140. It's Berea versus Leak. Over and under is 10. We saw the Angels lose last night. I think you jump right back on them, Dave.
Yeah, Berea is he's just the back end guy. And I would, by the way, keep your eye on this one because I think Berea is going to start because it looks like the Angels might be doing away with the opener. But still keep your eye on it because you never know what Osmus is going to do. Berea's going more to a 4-seam fastball. They told him to drunk his sinker, which is just an awful pitch. And he looks a little better this way. Mike Leake, good luck trying to figure him out. I mean, he's a little better at home than on the road. Leake can be tough when he's got his command, but when he doesn't, he is extremely hittable. So he's kind of a guy you like to look at early and see what he brings to the table on a particular night and maybe jump in a live bet at that point. I think the price was too high to begin with. It's probably settling in where it should be now with the Angels about 120 on the road.
Bryan Leonard, what do you like in this game?
Yeah, Angels play very well against Seattle. It just took all 3 games at home, 6-3, 9-2, 13-0. You take a look at Seattle. They've only won 1 out of the last 10. That was against Oakland on Saturday the 6th. It'd be LA or nothing for me in this one. Seattle's a team that peaked very early. We talked about that, and now they've played lousy ever since. It's a team I don't want to back it. Seattle's so dependent on the home run. They just don't have guys that can generate offense, and I don't want to bet on those type of teams. It's the Angels or nothing for me.
J.A. Happ on the mound for the Yankees tonight, 7-5 on the season. The team is 12-6 with him pitching, which is right in keeping with their record with anybody pitching. They're playing Colorado. Happ and the Yankees minus 220. The over and under in this game is 11. We already spoke about the fact that the Yankees are coming off of a doubleheader. I don't know if that should be taken into account, so I hand it over to the 2 experts. Dave, talk to me.
The hitters will still be very excited about facing Kyle Freeland because they've all got a chance to fatten up their batting averages here. Freeland returned to the majors after a mediocre stint in the minors. I'll say this, he was not lucky in the start against Cincinnati. He had a 4-run inning against them where the balls weren't hit hard and Colorado played some shaky defense. The Rockies are playing really bad baseball right now. And going to the Yankee Stadium, not the place you're going to get healthy. J Happ, there's nothing to justify him as a 220 favorite. He's been average or worse this season, but the pitching really doesn't matter here. You got to look at the team stuff. It completely favors the Yankees, and it's a stay away because of the price. But you can't make a good case for the dog here.
Mr. Leonard?
Yankees 46-21 versus righties, only 14-12 versus lefties. From a scheduling standpoint, the Yankees played crosstown rival the Mets. They play Tampa Bay, big rival in the division for 4 games. They play Toronto. Don't know if it's a rivalry, but it is divisional. And now they play Tampa again. And now they play a team from the National League. So playing the doubleheader yesterday, that was big for the Yankees. I would think from a situational standpoint, the setting is very good for Colorado. But as Dave said, even in the minors, when Freeland went to the minors, he got bombed in the minors, and they brought him back anyway, which I didn't really understand. He had that one great year last year. Everything went right for him, but I don't want to back him. So, this is be a game that I just don't think is worthy of playing.
Guys, we talked a little bit about tennis at the end of the show a few days ago. We talked about mustaches. I want to end with a thought on Barry Bonds. Maybe really get a quick thought from either of you guys. I know it's Hall of Fame. I've been reading all of these people who are against putting him into the Hall of Fame and people who are pro putting him and Clemens in the Hall of Fame. And I just want to make a point. I don't know what the right answer is, but I do want to say this. The reasoning that people are saying you should have him in the game. Look at Cap, one of the first guys in the Hall of Fame. He was the person that started the interracial split. Look at, I can't remember, Ty Cobb, what a dick. All of these people that are terrible human beings. Why shouldn't Barry Bonds get in? I just want to say that those arguments are irrelevant. The bottom line is Cap and Ty Cobb and all of these dickwads, they didn't actually cheat. Barry Bonds actually cheated. And I think that is why the argument on his character versus the characters of other dickwads is totally irrelevant. But I still don't know the right answer. Brian, do you have any thoughts quick?
It's too hard to break down who did what. Everybody's looking to get an advantage in any sport. You see it all the time. Bonds wasn't the only guy doing this kind of stuff, but he was the guy that was the best. Same with Clemens. Clemens is in regardless because of his prior history. To me, it doesn't matter of what he did. Bonds, he was a fringe guy going in, but to be honest with you, whatever he was taking, he was the best hitter I've ever seen in my lifetime.
And the best steroid taker.
Well, there was other steroid takers, and they weren't as good as him. So, I don't like voting for those guys to get in, but he deserves to be in. Come on.
I don't know how you can call it a Hall of Fame without him, Dave. Dave doesn't care.
No, I was just thinking that you mentioned Ty Cobb, and the way he looked and acted, he would be the guy who literally did have a horseshoe up his ass.
Ba-bum!
I gotta go, guys. I got another appointment.
Yeah, nicely said. Later, boys. Bri, we'll see you next Friday, everyone. Thanks so much for listening. First pitch for the week, done.